Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us at the London Film Festival. Maybe you can begin with a brief introduction to your film. For people who haven't seen it yet, what can they expect?
Pues estamos muy contentas de hacer aquí de tener la premier. De hecho, Londres es una ciudad muy importante para la película. Es la ciudad donde estuvieron nuestros personajes. Y estar aquí, poder contar su historia nuevamente 100 años después, es muy simbólico, muy importante para nosotras. Y también para este momento en la Amazonía, donde se vienen gestando muchas iniciativas de memoria desde los pueblos indígenas.
Yeah, we're very happy to be here to have the premiere in London because London is such an important city for the film. It's where the main characters in the film were. And so to be able to be here and be able to tell their story here 100 years later is so symbolic. And it also coincides with, at the moment in the Amazon, there are a lot of activities going on to recover memories in the Amazon right now.
So hello, this is Maduen, producer, Tatiana Fuentes, the director of The Memory of Butterflies. Today is the premiere in UK. Yeah, like Tatiana said, it's really important because London is part of the story of we were like talking about in the film, because our characters, Omarino and Aredomi, came here and they stay here for 6 months and then come back to the territories. And the people, the movie have a little bit of part of that. So we are really happy to be here. I think it's important now more than ever that we can be able to show what happened with them 100 years later, you know?
And maybe you can tell us a bit about the genesis of the project, how this initial photo that opens the film sort of sparks the concept for it, and why you wanted to put this story on screen.
Sí, la película empieza con una fotografía que es una imagen que yo no podía sacar de mí y quizás en seguir esta intuición de seguir esta historia, de investigar, es que encontramos toda la película, o sea, encontramos no solo la investigación, también encontramos la forma en que los pueblos indígenas negocian la memoria, la experiencia, la experimentan, la experiencia. Y también encontré mi historia personal, ¿no? Entonces, realmente la película parte sí solo de una fotografía para, hallar un camino de reparación, de justicia, de resignificación, de transformación, que que no sabíamos al inicio todo lo que nos iba a llevar. Es un proceso de 10 años, ¿no? Empezamos investigando los archivos, pero terminamos en el presente con las comunidades especulando. Empezamos investigando quizás en la historia conocida y terminamos imaginando deseos y futuros. Y me parece que ese camino que tiene la película es un camino desde la oscuridad hacia la vida. Y es muy importante porque lo queríamos dirigir así, queríamos contar esta historia así, porque esa es la actitud de los pueblos indígenas ahora. Ellos también se dirigen hacia la vida.
So yes, the film did indeed start with a photo, and when I saw this photo, it was an image I just couldn't forget. And following that intuition, following this story of discovery, led us to discover the film, to discover the research, and the way Indigenous peoples negotiate and really feel memory and the past. And it also led me to discover my own personal story as well. So yes, the film started with a photo, but it led us to illuminate this path of reparations, of justice, of transformations. And we didn't know at the beginning that that's where the film was going to lead us. It was a process that was 10 years in the making. We started with finding this archival material, but we ended up with communities and speculating on what could have been. So we started with a story that was known, or facts that were known, and we ended up imagining a possible future. And for me, the film follows that path kind of from darkness to light. And that's the way we wanted to tell the story as well, because that's the attitude that Indigenous peoples have. Actually, that's the way they focus on life itself.
Maybe you want to say a few words from the production side of some of the challenges you might have faced along the way in putting this film together.
I think for us was really important the way we approach the communities, because we know that we start this journey of decolonizing not only the material but ourselves as filmmakers, you know. And I think the challenge was to trying to find the money to go in a properly way to the communities, to first go and ask for permission and then come back. And beginning we have like this relationship with trust, that they know what we're going to do, what we are talking about, what can be able to talk and what is not can be able to talk about this, you know. And that make a lot of things not only as a production like a process, but also the history process, you know, because the movie also is talking about the limits that we have. Some things we can say and the other ones is like a secret, and we respect that, and this movie have that. And yes, it's always trying to remember why we are doing this film and trying to process in production just to be able to go through it. I think that's really successful in this, that all the process was decolonize our minds, our processes, and be with them. I think that was the huge learn for us as a filmmakers.
And obviously having the film travel around the world, going from Berlin Festival, now being here in London, what do you hope that audiences are taking from the film? I guess both in terms of it being quite educational, but like you say, finding both hope as well as darkness in facing up to injustices of the past.
I think first of all, it's like this story is real. I mean, about books, the history said that it was 5,000 people dying, but the community said 8,000. So even we don't know how many people died at that time. It was an ethnocide with the proper words, you know? And nobody knows about this. And I think, first of all, that is really important for us, that this story can be able to travel all the world and that people know what happens at the time. And even until now, maybe it's not like rubber band period now, but it's the proper of the lands or petroleum, who always is a problem with the communities in the Amazon in general, you know? And just question about that, as it's a really important story, but also more than festivals, that is also important for us. We really love to, like, people of the communities can be able to see the film and they can have this as an archive for the future. That is our main, like, important thing now. Like, we can be able to go through the jungle to communities and that they can see the film.
Y creo que también resuena con muchos otros territorios, ¿no? Esto nos ha pasado muchas veces. Estamos hablando de la Amazonía, pero podemos estar hablando de otro lugar del mundo también, como la Palestina ahora. Entonces, este tipo de... uno ve la película, pero le resuena en su propia lucha. Y esto es muy importante porque al final no estamos en un solo mundo con los mismos problemas en muchas diferentes regiones. Y creo que la película puede hablar por muchos pueblos más allá de la Amazonía, ¿no? Los pueblos que han sido oprimidos por el neoliberalismo, el extractivismo, el colonialismo en muchas partes del mundo.
Yeah, I think also that many people can identify with the film from so many different territories as well, whatever region they're in, because it happens that, yeah, we're talking in the film about the Amazon, but actually this could be a film about so many other places in the world, Palestine, for example. And so I think people will watch the film and be able to identify the struggles in the film with their own struggles. And I think that's very important because we're all living in the same world. With many similar problems in many different regions. And I think that this film can talk for so many people in all different places around the world. You know, so many of us are experiencing struggles with colonialism, extractivism and neoliberalism.
Thank you so much. Huge congrats on the film. Thanks for sharing that with me. Really enjoyed presenting it here in London. Muchas gracias.